Peepers, what's going on, man? It's your boy Mike. I wanted to come and holler at y'all today, real quick. It's been a long time, and not a long time, but it's been some time since I made a video. But I wanted to come and share a video with you guys and kind of discuss some things pertaining to marriage, particularly new marriages, that I think is kind of really hurting new marriage right now. Um, even in dating relationships, this could apply to you too. Um, that being, what to do when you feel like your marriage is failing. You know, you've been married a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 6 years, and you're at a point where it's like, I don't think this is working. And you're second guessing the decision that you made to get married to the person that you're married to. Um, I've seen a lot of people kind of suffer with that over the past year, 2 years, and it's tough to deal with. It really is. Marriage is definitely a sacrifice, and there are some things that you're gonna have to sacrifice in order to have a successful marriage. So I just kind of wanted to delve into that real quick. Before we get into it, you can still get copies of the book Best Friends on Amazon, or if you see me out in public and you want a copy, let me know, and I'll be sure to have some on me, and you can pick up a copy. It's only $10. And additionally, um, if you know someone who is married or getting ready to get married, and they could use a book to kind of help them through along the way. Give them some tidbits of things that they can use to kind of help them through some of those hard times of marriage. Communication, money, sex, kids, foundational beliefs. What do we believe spiritually? All of those things are covered in the book. So get a book, get a copy, and we appreciate your support. So getting into this, right? What to do when you feel like your marriage is failing? Well, first, you have to understand what your foundational principles are. Now, this is something that my wife and I were introduced to through marriage counseling. When we went through marriage counseling, my pastor, Pastor P. Michael McNair, taught us a principle of foundational beliefs. You need to know what you believe. Okay, you cannot have a marriage. You can't have something ordained and created by God and exclude Him from it and think it's gonna work. Unfortunately, it don't work that way. And for those who believe, fortunately, it don't work that way. Because when you exclude God from the things that He ordained and created for you to enjoy, it doesn't become enjoyable anymore. So you have to get back to understanding, what does Christ say about marriage? Particularly, what is He saying about my marriage? Is my marriage pleasing to Him? Right? Husbands, am I giving myself to my wife like Christ gave Himself to the church and died for it? Am I doing that? Wives, am I submitting myself to my husband? Come on. Okay, so you have to get back to the foundational principles of what marriage is, and get in prayer, and understand what Christ is saying about your marriage. Because you may think that God is looking at your marriage and He's pleased, when really He may not be. Okay, so that's thing number one. Get back to the foundational principles of your marriage and kind of understand what you guys believe spiritually about marriage and how it should work. Okay, and after you've done that, then we got to have a conversation. Everything goes back to communication. We got to have a conversation. Do you expect from me as your wife? What do you expect from me as your husband? Am I giving you that? Am I fulfilling the needs that you have? Huh? If it's 8:30 and your kids are asleep and that brother want a little attention, give that man some attention, and vice versa. But we have to be able to communicate those needs and those desires, because they change. The same thing you wanted at 25, at 35, you don't want the same thing. Your goals, your perspective changes. Okay, so you got to have a conversation about those things. Otherwise, you'll end up growing with someone, and they changed, but you didn't know it. And now they've changed into a totally different person, and you don't know who you're married to. All right. So first thing, foundational principles. Second thing, communication. Have a conversation. And lastly, okay, we have to understand why we got married in the first place. What attracted you enough to your spouse to say, I'm willing to spend the rest of my life with your stinking behind? Come on. What was that one thing or two things or however many things that they did that was just like, oh, I got to have this for the rest of my life? Whatever that was, remember it. Think on it. Let it be ever present in your mind, because it's going to help you to sustain through the hard times of marriage. My wife and I have had financial difficulty since being married. And if you've been married longer than 2 years or longer, you know them first 2 years is rough. You're broke. Me and my wife have been through that. We've been through, other things in our marriage that have really rocked our marriage in the beginning, but we were able to overcome it because we had a conversation. We went back to our foundational principles, and we both agreed that we are not getting a divorce. It's not happening. So whatever happens, be it as it may, we just gonna have to learn how to live with it and love you through it. Because I'm only doing this once. That's a conversation that we had. We had a conversation about what do we believe spiritually about marriage. We talk about it. We had a conversation about it. We had a conversation about what our desires were financially, what our desires were of each other, what our desires were, of our household as a whole. Okay? So once you have those conversations, and once those tidbits are in place, and we're remembering the thing that really attracted me to my wife initially was a couple of things. Physically speaking, her hair, because my wife has luxurious hair. It's long and it's hers. And when I seen it, I was like, oh God. Okay. It is, oh my goodness. Yes, sir. When I seen it. So, and then once I got to know her personality and how nice and how loving and caring she is for the people that she cares for, and how forgiving she is. Even if you hurt her, she has the ability to forgive you. She may not like you, but she'll forgive you. Those are the things that really attracted me to my wife. And I knew I need somebody like that. I got to have that for the rest of my life. So I married her. Okay, so keep those things in mind when you're in your marriages, in your dating relationships. If you're thinking about segueing into marriage, keep these things in your mind, because they're going to be important pieces to kind of hold your marriage together. All right. I love you guys. I hope you get something out of this video. Be on the lookout. I'm going to be doing more. Just bear with me. I got a lot going on work related, so just kind of bear with me. But I'm coming back. I'll be doing this a lot more often, and I hope that you guys are blessed. I love you. Peace.
I know they see you and they want you. I know they see you and they want to make you who they want you to be.